These two songs are really well written. Probably a good 下饭剧. There is no consistent rule of the world she sets up. When this type of people are given the opportunity to write scripts, it's just ridiculous. The Sword and the Brocade is a 45 episodes drama that's being aired on web in China currently. It has aired way past 20 episodes mark, and I've watched 18 episodes as I'm making this video. So you can call it an first impression, or you can call it close to midway review, or just a general slightly ranting video on this drama. This drama is led by Tan Songyun and Zhong Hanliang. Last year, when it was being filmed, I really did follow the news quite closely, and I really look forward to this drama. In many ways, people compare it to Story of Minglan because of the similar story setting. The drama is based on an internet novel that was quite popular, and it's a very long novel, over 2 million Chinese characters. 庶女攻略 literally means a daughter who's born of a concubine and her tips of surviving. You can see the similarity between this story and the story of Minglan. Also because I really like the actress Tan Songyun, and Zhong Hanliang, Wallace Shawn has been one of my longest infatuation actors. There was a period when I was like totally crazy about Xiaoa. When this drama aired, I immediately clicked in, and I've been clicking open it constantly until I hit about episode 18 and I just couldn't bother to click it anymore. That is the rough experience I've gone through watching this drama. Before I go into talk about the details, as usual, I'll give it my rating. Goldmine/landmine. And now let me tell you why I would give it such a not very favorable rating. First, I'll talk about the positive things. The first thing, unexpectedly, that I really like about this drama is it has some really well written soundtrack songs. Particularly the opening title song, sung by Yu Kewei, and one of the in the middle of the drama it will show up song sung by Zhou Shen. These two songs are really well written, really well performed by those two singers who are very well known and very talented person. Particularly like Zhou Shen, he now has become the go-to person for pretty much all Chinese period dramas title ending songs. Not just in China, probably globally as well. He has just one of the most unique male voices. He just has so much emotion and soothing and sort of angelic quality of his voice. Singing those period romantic drama songs are like perfect for him. My good impression about this drama started with its music, and even though later the plot did disappoint me quite a lot, I would still say it has some of the best songs OST written for a period drama in Chinese drama and for quite a while. The second thing that I do appreciate about this drama is it has, averagely speaking, okay production quality. You can tell like they did spend quite a bit money to put everything together, props, sets, costumes and stuff. Although I don't particularly like some styles of the things, I do recognize it's a proper standard production. Definitely has a bigger budget than some of the other period dramas that are airing at the same time. So as an industrial standard production packaged together, you really cannot pick at a lot of the technical, the hardware problems from this drama. I also really do like Tan Songyun. I have been following her as an actress for a long time. I would say as I watch this drama, she didn't outperform my expectation, but she didn't fail it either. For the role and the script she's given, she's done a pretty good job. I do enjoy her presence on screen while she's there. For all the positive points, the last one I would make is this is actually a drama that's probably a good 下饭剧. The type of drama that is accompanying your eating. When you have cooked your food and you put an episode on, let it run, eat, and then just turn off your brain. And while watching just the pretty people and whatever goes on screen and their story, it kills that type of time. But if you want to sit down and dedicate an hour or two focusing on the drama, not doing anything else, watching the drama, then I wouldn't say it's the best way of spending that time. That is what I can say about the things that do make me, watched 18 episodes of this drama. Now, on the more brutal side and honest opinion about why this drama just really disappointed me. I think the biggest problem it has is the script is really badly written. I haven't read the original novel, but I've heard from a lot of original novel fans that they've changed so much of its setup, the plot, that it just like doesn't even resemble the original work. Since I don't have comparison in my brain, I'll just judge the drama as it's written. This is written by the same scriptwriter who adapted Jingxiu Weiyang, Princess Weiyang, so you have a good idea about what type of story she tends to write. She is very double standard. There is no consistent rule of the world she sets up. The story is set in Ming Dynasty, which is one of the most backward on women, on women's rights, on the restrictions of women among all the Chinese ancient dynasties, one of the worst time. At the time, women have very, very little freedom and rights. And if you set it in that dynasty, then you better make the strict rules on all the female roles consistent. This is not a historical drama. You don't have to be super specific or accurate to real history, but if you decide a general rule of your world, then you better stick with it. She doesn't. In one scene, all the women are there, and then a man is announced that will come in, and then the woman will stand up and say, okay, we're gonna go hide behind the screen because we don't want all the unmarried girls to show up in front of a stranger man. That's the atmosphere you've set up for this society, which is very strict segregation between the gender. And then you have the female lead who fell into a river, and the male lead jumped in and literally saved her. And like two guys, literally, male lead and the made up second male lead that doesn't exist, I think, in original novel, they both went in and saved her from totally basically drowning, and she's totally wet, and you know, like, you've touched her and she's totally wet. If you're in that type of society, right, the rules you've set up to that point, she kind of has to marry the guy. You just can't touch an unmarried woman. Like, you've done that, she's kind of like, she either marries you or her reputation is destroyed. So if you've made up a rule like that, stick with it. But I guess because she's female, so she has special treatment, she gets saved and nothing happens. Like, nobody had any problem with a stranger man touching the totally wet through unmarried girl. She even has scenes with the second male lead that they are in a separate individual room when she's not married, in a space that's enclosed with no company. Like, there's no chaperone or any kind. Like, what is the rule of your world? There are even more ridiculous things, like she tries to run away with her concubine mother from her big, very suppressive family, and they literally have those luggages, right, wrapped up in cloth, and they take that and walked out of their house mansion in broad daylight. How does that happen? Anyway, the scriptwriter doesn't bother. She probably doesn't know. So this type of things happens over and over and over in this drama. That's why I said you have to turn off your logical brain watching this drama, otherwise nothing makes sense. Within that particular scene, with no links to the context, you may enjoy certain conflicts and dramatic moments, but once you bring in the logic, this drama just shatters into broken glasses all over the place. I can totally tell this scriptwriter, she has a very small vocabulary in Chinese. I'm being brutal, but it's true. Because she just doesn't know what are the multiple ways of describing the same thing. She would just use one word to repeatedly describing one thing. If you have a high school education, you shouldn't end up like this. Our female lead marries into this marquis's household. She's the official wife, taking the place of her dead sister previously. And then there are concubines. So in Chinese traditional society, the household runner is the official wife, and all the concubines equals to slave. Really, that's their social status. And then in this drama setting, very ridiculously, okay, you have the concubine actually running the household, and there's a reason for doing that, and we're not gonna argue if it actually makes sense, but we'll just say, okay, we'll accept this setup. And in this story, the biggest thing that all the concubines and the official wife is running around about is who has the right to run the household, who holds the key to the safe box, who has the control of the account books. They use the word 执掌中馈, literally means ordering around and controlling. 中馈 is basically your family's finance, bulk of gold that's hidden somewhere in your house. There are a dozen ways of expressing that idea. You can say 管家, which literally means running household. You can say 说了算, whatever you say counts. Like, I can put up 12 words, really, to describe the same meaning. And depending on who the character is, what kind of conversation is, what is the context, you can just move around those words, making it sound like normal human talking. Nope, the scriptwriter just doesn't have any other words. Every episode, you go and watch it, you'll hear the word 执掌中馈, 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 like 温客行, non-stop. Nobody has any other word for that concept. The main roles, the supporting roles, the maids, the concubines, freaking everyone. Okay, this just shows you're not a good scriptwriter and you're not well educated in literature, language, in Chinese. Let's be honest. Why? Well, this type of people are given the opportunity to write scripts. It's just ridiculous. So that's just my one point that I just can't deal with. And then there's one point that's not related to the plot that I feel very, very disappointed about is the costume. They've set the story in Ming Dynasty. Ming Dynasty is one of the more researched dynasties now in the Chinese Hanfu community in terms of what types of clothing happens at what time, styling, fabric, pattern. If you want to do a Ming Dynasty setting drama, I would love to see a little bit effort put into the research. Particularly in Ming Dynasty, clothing are very big. Like, they're oversized pretty much all through for men and women. And it's a reflection of the modesty of the Confucius teaching and really the very strict rules. You have to hide all the features kind of thing. So it's big and it's baggy. And in the drama, they went for the absolute opposite. Everybody is so tightly fit, tight sleeve and tight like waistline. It's weird. Because some of their costume just reminds you more like the Nyonya culture costume than a Ming Dynasty costume. It doesn't have to be perfectly replicating history, but I would appreciate if they put a little bit effort. Since you've already decided to set the story in that time and you do have production budget, are you trying to do it so that you can save more fabric? Because you make clothes with much less fabric? I don't know. So I'm not happy with what it looks like. The final thing I would say about this drama is 2 points wrapped in one. Zhong Hanliang's role. I think on the script side, it's not well written. They're trying to get both ends of something that just doesn't exist at the same time, which is they're trying to make it 甜宠, sweet and spoil. The main lead's romantic relationship being super sweet and lovely, but at the same time they still keep the setup of this guy basically is an aristocrat who's already had a wife, had 2 children, had multiple concubines, now getting our female lead married into the household, and supposedly, you know, this Tan Songyun's role is his true love. He acts like he doesn't care about all the other women in his life, yet he had children with them. And he also acts towards this leading female role as if like he has never fallen in love and he's like stepping very on the glass, on the shell around her, and like a young guy falling in love for the first time, which is like, come on, with your setup, it just does not make sense. Honestly, a person with that setup in ancient Chinese history would be like that, having a lot of concubines. It's fine. You can totally write it as he is not an asshole to all the girls in his life. He's just like not finding a particular person who really connects with him. But he still, you know, wouldn't be really just cold and aloof and heartless to all the other women. He would just treat them with acceptable level of courtesy. And then this woman comes into his life and he realizes, okay, she is actually the person who can understand me, and they start to build up a relationship more on a matured adults understanding that this is a helpful person who can help me with a lot of things when we can grow together and there's a good future for us based on daily interactions and the built up trust, the more sort of adult level convincing and weighted story. Unfortunately, the script doesn't give the actor any of that, so his role is just quite bland and unconvincing. Then Zhong Hanliang's acting is also... I've been a Xiaohua fan for many years, but I have to say recent years, at least 5 to 8 years, he's been in so many productions that none of them just took flight. I remember in the early 2000s, he has been in quite a few dramas that just took my breath away. I don't know what happened. He just couldn't pick a good script, and he really is a little bit too old, okay, for this role. And when he tries to make up a CP with Tan Songyun, I just like, it doesn't click for me. It doesn't quite work. So that wraps up my opinion about Jing Xinsi's Sword and Brocade. I doubt I'd want to go back to watch his drama. I would just let it stop at episode 18. And like I always say, you have all the freedom to love it or hate it, and I don't expect people to have the same opinion as I do. Have fun, okay? It's important that you have fun and you like what you like. That's the most important thing. Thank you for watching Avenue X. I'll see you in my next video. Meanwhile, live long and happy drama watching.